All right, well, welcome. And tonight we're going to start this Flatiron store project. It is still structured like a lab, but it is a project because of its size and its scope. But yes, it's still test driven. So we're going to get into it, look at the tests, and do our best. And we should be able to get through our migrations, our models, and getting a Devise user set up. And I think those three things will be enough, and getting our model associations done. And we'll see how far that gets us. But that's really the plan for this evening, to get through those parts, and then there'll be another video, and then there'll be another session to finish it off. So that's the plan for this evening, and that should be good, I think, time-wise, and then leave some space for questions. So let's get going by looking at this lab. So we're going to build an e-commerce site. We're going to make an online store where users can browse items, put their items in their carts, and buy items, which changes our inventory. Oh, and if you have any questions, want me to stop, something's confusing, as I'm going through this evening, feel free to shout out over your microphone, unmute yourself, or throw it into the chat window, whatever you feel more comfortable with. And yeah, we'll tackle it and then make sure that we have a solid understanding of the concepts of what's going on. So users have just an email and password, should be able to log in and out and log out. Also sign up, so log in and log out and sign up. Note, you must use the Devise gem to set up user for test to pass. You may find that you're missing some seed data. Look at error messages you get carefully. Don't be surprised if you have to add some seed data. This is a key that I know some people miss. They read it and forget about it, and then they're stuck for a while. Items. List of available items, whether you are logged in or not. If logged in, each item should have an add to cart button. When the user adds an item to the cart, it should show them their current cart. So that's kind of a mix between the view and the controller and the model. Cart/checkout. Users should be able to check out from their cart. This shows them their cart afterwards and deducts inventory from each item. Prices should be in the $ numeral, numeral, dot, numeral, numeral format, so decimal. I guess float. 4, the checkout process should set that current cart to a status of submitted. Header/nav. So we're building out the whole thing. Users should know who they are logged in as. Users should be able to sign in and out from the navigation bar. Users should always be able to go home. If the user has a current cart, there should be a cart link to their current cart. Specifying custom class names and foreign keys. Okay. Imagine a simple dating app that tracks relationships between its users. In order to retrieve a user's current relationship from the database, it would make sense to call something like user.current_relationship. However, Active Record doesn't intuitively understand that it should map the belongs to current relationship association to the relationship model, or the corresponding relationship ID column in the database. To explicitly point it at the correct model, we can use the class name and foreign key attributes like so. Okay. For more information, check out class name and foreign key in the Rails guides, this Stack Overflow post, and the models post section in this site point refresher. All right. So that's a lot, but I know that I got bit many times while doing these labs by not reading the entire README and realizing there's some key piece of data, like maybe this, missing and holding me up. So one thing that is different about this project is, one, the tests are going to run in the spec folder in alphabetical order. So typically, I think it's smartest to build your schemas, build up your database structure through your migrations, and then build your models, and then look at your controllers and your views. So if we just run our spec, we're going to hit this features folder first, and these are like when a user is logged in, what's on the page and such. And we can't really build that without everything happening behind it. So we're going to want to target these model specs first. So we're going to have to run our tests a little bit differently to do that. And we also have our migrations. We also know that we need a migration for our users. And we also know we need to add something for our seed data for our users, because that was in the README. So with migrations pending like we have right now, we know that we won't be able to run RSpec. We're going to get an error. But we don't really want to run these empty migrations. So I'm going to take a hint from the model's specs, and I can typically figure out what needs to be in these models based on these model specs. And we'll see if that's true or not. But typically in these specs for models, you have a create method somewhere in here, depending on the model. Sometimes you don't, but we'll figure it out as we go. Line item, like line item.create, we see it has a quantity and a cart. User before each due, so require Rails helper. So it looks like there'll probably be something in here. Oh, what else is this requiring? Require spec helper. So we step back again and go to spec helper. No. Let's see, factories. Here's a user factory. Okay. I'm stepping through the specs to see what's going on. Oh, this is why we throw errors without seeding our database, because the user model test spec is just looking for the first user. So if you don't put one in your database, all the user tests are going to fail over and over and over again. So that's why we need this seed. So let's do that first. So back to our README. Have just an email and password. So all we need to give them is an email and password. So we can use our Faker gem. I see it's installed here, and create that pretty straightforwardly. Pretty straightforward. Remind myself of the Faker gem syntax. Seeds. So let's just, how many do we want to make? Let's make 5. 5 times do user.create, and then they have an email, so we can call Faker internet.email. That will generate something, and password Faker internet.password. Internet.password. And then end. Good. And that should seed our database for us with our users. All right. Minimize that for a minute. Let's look at our migrations. Get rid of that over here. All right. Line item, quantity, and a cart. So let's see. items. Okay, expect line item cart first equal. Okay, belongs to a cart, belongs to an item, has a default quantity of 1. So let's build that out. So line item, create table, line items. This is going to be plural. Do T. And then belongs to an item and belongs to a cart. So let's say T integer cart ID, T integer belongs to an item ID, and then T integer, we have quantity that we saw, quantity, that needs to default to 1 based on this spec. And if we don't get every piece this way, that's fine. We can run more migrations. I just want to see how much we can get from here first. All right. So line items. Let's look at our create category. So category spec, category type model. It has many items. Category first items. Item first, expect category to first. Okay, that doesn't really tell us much. Let's see if we have something in our README. No, it doesn't look like it. So let's think about this. Category is going to need at least like a name. Let's see if there's any other. Has many items. See if there's a category in here somewhere. So we can item and cart. Item belongs to a category. Anything with a category. User.carts, current cart. Okay, don't know. It's gonna need something. So let's think. To create table, categories, do T. If it has many, then that's going to be the other things using its ID. So we don't need its ID for anything here. It's going to need something. Let's see. Oh, let's look at the seeds. Seeds give us info too. Create category to create title. Okay, so it has a title. There we go. It looks like that's the one thing it is. And we have an item over here as well. So we know its attributes. There we go. I knew there'd be info somewhere for us to figure these out. All right. Carts. So we got category. Let's look at the cart spec. Cart.create with nothing. Does the cart have any properties or does it just hold things? Cart has many line items built through instance method, has many items through line items, can calculate its total, add item, so it has methods on it. Do we have any carts in here? No. Okay. Let's look at the item spec. Item cart.create. Cart has an ID. Has many carts. Okay, so if the user has many carts, then a cart belongs to a user. So we know that part. We need a user ID in here. So we need to create our table. Carts do T and what are we looking for? T.integer user ID at least. Yeah, let's go with that. That's all that I'm really seeing. Or let's see, read me say anything about it. Carts. Users should be able to check out from their cart. The cart shows them their cart afterwards and deducts inventory from each item. Checkout prices should be. To checkout process should set the current cart to a status. Oh, so it needs a status of, and that's a string. String status. I think that's all we can find there. All right, items. Title, inventory, price, at least. Create table. Excuse me. Items, do T, and what did we say? Title, inventory, price. All right. T.string, title, T.integer, inventory, T.integer, price. Let's see, item spec, or even over here, seeds, category, item.category ID. So we have category ID. Based on a seed, because we're going to add that to it. All right. Anything in the spec belongs to a category. There we go. With line items. Has many line items. Okay, I think that's it for that one. Orders. This line items is a join table. Orders, orders, orders. I don't think there's anything in orders. We just need the table. Because that's something that's just going to have yeah, we don't even have a model spec for it. Okay, and then we need to create our user with Devise. So let's do that. Check our gem file. Devise is in here. And else G, I do not remember how to do this. Hopefully Devise is in here as well. Rails generate Devise. All right, Rails generate Devise name. Okay. Rails generate Devise name options. Rails generate Devise user. Let's double check that. Rails Devise. These are all links. Getting started. We got that. Oh, we need to do this. Rails generate Devise install. Then Rails generate Devise user. Some setup you must do manually if you haven't yet. Okay. Ensure you have defined default URL options in your environment files. Here's an example: default URL options appropriate for a development environment in config environments development. Production host should be set to the actual host of your application. So that should be fine. So you have defined root URL to something in your config routes. Let's double check that. Root. Okay, we have a root. Ensure you have flash messages and app views layout application. App views layouts application. P class. Nope. So let's put this in here. It's right here at the top. I guess there's a header here, so we can put it below the header, but before the body. That's probably good. You can copy Devise views for customization to your app by running. Okay, we're not going to do that. And then now we need our Rails generate Devise user. All right, that created migration and models for us. And did Devise for users here in our routes. All right, so I think we're ready to migrate now and move into looking at our models. All right, Devise create users. All right, and all we need is a string and an email and a password. So I'm going to actually comment out all these other attributes that Devise brings in by default before we migrate. Timestamps, I guess timestamps is fine. And I'll leave these index on here. Reset password token. We don't have a reset password, so I'll take that off. Users and email. We have an email, so I'll leave that. So now I believe we're ready to Rails DB migrate or rake DB migrate. Let me see. Gem file. Yep, this is Rails 4.2. This will be updated soon, I'm sure. So those Rails commands aren't available in this version of Rails. Cool. So that was successful. Then rake db seed to get that data into our database. And then let's look at our schema. See if nothing's looking crazy. Carts, categories, items, line items, users. Oh, we never created our orders table. I think we'll still need that, even if it's empty. So let's create one more migration. Rails generate migration, create orders table. Oh, Rails. Rails generate migration. I'm not spelling anything right. Okay. This is going to be a little bit off. That's fine. We already have this create orders file. I guess I could just delete this one and follow the proper naming conventions because that did nothing. And yeah, let's make this right. Rename this to create orders. This is create orders. And then we can just do that, and that'll make the table for us. DB migrate again. Oh no.
I think you left the end in the table.
Table.
Yeah, there's an extra end there.
Oh, there. Yeah, because it's not a block.
Yeah.
There we go. Cool. And our schema should have that in there. I think it's fine being empty, but if it needs anything, we can change that table. But I think that's the basis for everything. And I think now we can try and run some tests and see what happens. So let's just run, oh, not here. Collapse some of this down. And let's see what our tests look like. Hopefully no errors about migrations or database, and we just get a bunch of red though. I get some green because I've done some database stuff. Or not. Cool, so 42 failures. And we see these feature tests on a element not found and stuff. Store headers, can't find parts of that. So we want to hone in on after these feature tests to these model tests. I'm actually going to pull this, copy that, run rspec with that. Oh. That should only give us our models, our model tests. Should be much more useful right now. Cool, 15. So I'll bump this over to the side. Because I think some of these things are associations, and just being able to see the list of them is going to make it a little bit easier. And let's go to our models. All right, user, order, line item, category, cart. I like to work with all the models open. And as I do one association, like it belongs to, then jump to its has many and do them right after each other so I don't forget one side of it. Is everything making sense so far? I want to check in with you guys and make sure. Keeping up?
Yeah, it's good for me.
Cool. All right, so I'm not going to worry about any of these methods in these models as of yet, like cart can calculate its total. I'm more concerned about these user has many carts type of things. So let's look at the user. It has all these things from Devise, and it's fine. I guess we can take some of them out because we won't need them. Let me get these ones. Database authenticatable, registerable, validatable. All right. Where do we want to be? Right here. So cart, user has many carts. So has many carts. Cart belongs to user. Yeah. I'm just going to go through these and then I'll go back and run tests and see, make sure they're all looking right. But line item belongs to a cart, line item belongs to an item. Belongs to cart, belongs to item. Okay. What else we got? Item belongs to a category. Well, I guess if line item belongs to a cart, belongs to an item, then a cart. Let's wait. Items has many light items built through instance method. Cart items has many items through line items. Okay. Quantity default 1. Cart item. Let's go to item next. Yeah, I think that it's making sense. Because it's going to go through, I think it goes through. They're through the line items. Item. Item belongs to a category. So that means a category has many items. All right. Let's see what our tests are telling us now. Okay, so we got 3 done. All right. Belongs to a cart, belongs to an item. Now, cart items has many line items built through instance method. All right, so cart item cart items has many line items through line items. Okay. Built through instance method. I believe the instance method that we're talking about is just a has many. So has many line items. And then it says has many items through line items. So has many items through line items. And then we're going to need the opposite of this in our item. Has many line items, has many carts through line items. Item with line items has many line items consolidated by line item quantity. Okay, let's see where that takes us. Line item, maybe line item, no, it's singular. Okay, so that did take care of, that's what we were looking for most of it. We went from what, 13 to 6. Cool. So let's see if any of these other ones right now are add item, create a new unsaved line item, add item, available items, user has a current cart. I guess we can do the current cart. That's going to be here. Current cart. And let's think about that. Oh, that's what we were talking about with a perfect time to use something like this. We won't need all of these parts because we already have many carts. We can do something like has one current cart, and that's going to allow us to call that cart. And then we can say class name cart. And then if we go to our I think that'll do it. Let's see. Yes, that did pass. So what we're doing is, if we look at this example again, it would make sense to call something like user.currentRelationship. So we're doing user.currentCart. However, Active Record doesn't intuitively understand that it should map the belongs to association to, or belongs to, like current cart, we would say association to the cart model in this case, or the corresponding relationship ID column in the database. But since we have that belongs or has many carts, because the user does have many carts, that ID part is taken care of, the association. However, we only ever have one current cart. So that's what this line is doing for us. Okay. Any questions at this point in time? Because this is about where I plan to get tonight, to get the database migrations done, to get the user set up with Devise, which was, just running those Devise methods in the console, to get the database seeded, to get past that issue or what could be an issue that was pointed out in the lab README of seeding the database for the users. And yeah, we could actually make sure that worked. User.all, cool, yeah. Item.all, category.all, let's say cart.all. What else do we have? Line item.all. Okay, so no line items, no carts. Order.all, no orders. So yeah, so database seeding worked out was supposed to. We've got our association set up, all of our has many's, belongs to, has many through. This one has one for the cart, and then can calculate its total. Here's some instance methods, available items, so a class level method. Yeah, that was the plan. So any questions about what we've been through at all this evening as we start this Flatiron store project? Okay, great. So no questions at this point.